Morning guys, Ryan here from Elite Automotive Diagnostics. Today we've got a interesting one if you like. Citroën C4 Picasso in with a check engine light. Customer states when they start the vehicle the engine light comes on, but it's okay driving, there's no lack of power, etc, etc. So I'll just quickly show you what their complaint is. So we're going to start the car. So the car started. They did say sometimes it will and sometimes it won't do it, so it didn't do it that time, so try it again. There you go, so it flashed up, engine fault, had the vehicle repaired, and the eco off light flashing, and then it just reactivated the eco. Eco on this vehicle obviously stopped start, so it disconnected there and turned it back on again. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward. So we'll check the code stored in the module. We have done a previous scan on the vehicle, and depending on what codes are in there, so there's only 2 codes come back, but there was another code in there which I believe is related actually to the fault. So if we look at the go into data manager where we saved the full system scan, check the PDF. So we're going to the system scan. So this is the original vehicle scan that we scanned the vehicle. Originally it had 3 codes in there. This one was a P1 AA249 voltage stabilizer internal electronics fault. Now this is the code that's causing his engine light to come on intermittently. Now when it sets DTCs, obviously we can view the freeze frame data of the DTC when it's being stored, which basically means we can check any data when the fault code is being set. So if we go back and we look at the freeze frame data, so I did save it as a PDF format. As you can see, where's the fault code? I don't give you the actual fault code number, that's annoying. So this is the freeze frame data for that fault code specifically. If you scroll down, what we're paying attention to is obviously voltage maintaining device, so we need to make sure we have good battery voltage basically. As you can see here, so supply voltage of the engine ECU is only 8.1 volts. That's interesting. So if we look at the crankshaft speed, we can see the crankshaft speed is 0. Okay, so if the crankshaft speed is 0 and the supply voltage the ECU is 8.1 volts, then obviously we have a slight issue here. The engine status is driven starting, so it's trying to start the vehicle over, so it's cranking the vehicle. We've got a voltage drop of 8.1 volts to this ECU. Okay, but it sounded like it started fine. I'll start it again for you. So there you go, not an excessive crank time if you like, no dimming of lights, etc, etc. Nothing untoward that you'd think, yeah, you know, possibly a battery issue. So what we've done was a quick battery test on the Pico, using a Pico built-in battery tester. And as you can see here, so this was our chart. So blue is voltage, and obviously red is our current. So you can see this huge drop during cranking here. So if we actually check the lowest voltage drop, it went down to 4.48 volts. Now you just heard me crank that vehicle and it sounded great. Didn't sound like it was laboring, or it didn't sound like it had a surge of power, or the battery was low, etc. But as you can see here, the actual lowest point of voltage drop went down to 4.8 volts. That was a drop of 7.28 volts. So at this point here, its lowest point, it got all the way down to 4.48 volts. Now a minimum voltage I like to see during cranking is around about 10 volts. 9 to 10 volts I'd be happy with that. Anything lower than 9-10 volts, you've got an issue. So obviously it's actually saying the battery is good and it's recharging. Now I don't believe that. The battery isn't very good because obviously the battery voltage is knackered. And we have a state of charge. Capacity of that here is 52%. State of charge is 0%, as you can see here. So basically this vehicle, all it needs is a new battery. But if you come to the vehicle originally, you cranked it over, it sounds fine, you know, etc, etc. Me telling you needs a battery will probably be a bit out of the ordinary. So to prove it, we have a jump pack here, good old jump pack. We're going to simply put it on the jump pack points. So one to the battery positive, one to the negative jump start post over there, and then we're going to start the vehicle. Now in theory, if the battery is no good and we've just added an additional power supply, if you like, then this should cure our problem. So if we crank the engine, no warning. We stop the vehicle, start the vehicle, again no warning. Do it one last time. As you can see, the fault is no longer present. Now the fault is with the battery, quite simply. However, if I remove the battery pack, that's done by there, and we switch it off. I've got the headlights on for the minute, just to take the service charge off the battery for a second, as you can kind of see. Just about there, roughly. And then what we'll do is we'll try this battery again, and I think you'll find that our issue will come back. And there you go, engine fault, had the vehicle repaired. So fairly straightforward diagnosis if you like, but you know, cranking the vehicle you wouldn't think the battery was faulty. We have a voltage internal error code to begin with. What was key was this freeze frame data. So obviously the code we had in there originally being this P1AA249 voltage stabilizer internal electronics fault. Now obviously any module, stabilizer, anything to do with voltages etc. needs a good power supply. So the key really to this diagnosis was the freeze frame data that told us that the starter motor was being engaged, and the voltage drop was 8.1 volts during the freeze frame data capture. That's a huge drop. So quite straightforward really, just needs a new starter motor, a new battery, and then this vehicle will be good to go. But yeah, so modern vehicles nowadays need a really good battery support, battery source, and just listen to it, you can hear it. See that? Sounds like it started absolutely fine, but when you start to measure the battery voltage, we got all the way down to 4.4 volts. Hell of a voltage drop. So a new battery for this one, and this one will be done. Cheers guys.